Hello, Sam here with our upcoming reads. Next episode, we'll be looking at the full 12-issue run of the 2015 comic series Kanan. Then in the following episode, we'll be looking at both the 2017 novel and the 2018 comic adaptation of Thrawn. Enjoy the show.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Ba 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 da ba.
For 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights brought peace and order to the Galactic Republic, aided by their connection to the mystical energy field known as the Force. They were betrayed, and the whole galaxy has paid the price. It is the age of the Empire. Now, Emperor Palpatine, once Chancellor of the Republic, secretly a Sith follower of the dark side of the Force, has brought his own peace and order to the galaxy. Peace through brutal repression, and order through increasing control of his subjects' lives. But even as the Emperor tightens his iron grip, others have begun to question his means and motives, and still others, whose lives were destroyed by Palpatine's machinations, lay scattered about the galaxy like unexploded bombs waiting to go off.
Hello and welcome to Crashing for Starfighter, the Star Wars podcast, which is proud to be here and proud to be proud. I'm Sam.
I'm Emily.
And welcome to this episode on 2014's first canon novel, A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller.
Oh, this is the first one.
We've gone back to the start.
Whoa.
As I hinted at in the intro, it is now Pride Month, so I just wanted to take a moment to talk about ourselves, because I don't think we've ever said on this podcast, well, you have, we're both queer Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's been hinted, shall we say.
You've called yourself gay multiple times. I haven't
yeah,
really.
I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, but yeah, I'm bi, so that's me. I'm a bi lady. I have a wonderful, wonderful girlfriend right now called Faye, who I've probably mentioned a few times without giving any context to. So hi Faye, if you're listening.
And I am non-binary, using they them pronouns, which we don't use pronouns on this podcast. Why would you know? But yeah, hello there. I'm also pansexual. I just wanted to get out of the way and mention that every year for Star Wars comics do a few Pride covers, and just in this episode's topic, we will be meeting one of the characters which features on one of these covers. Which, did I plan it? No, I forgot it was Pride Month coming up, but who cares? We're here now.
Oh yeah. We're gonna do a little like rainbow logo, you know.
Probably not because I'm lazy, but I'll think about it.
That's fair enough.
So, Emily, at the end of last episode, I asked you a question.
You did ask me a question.
The question was, who is Ahsoka Tano? And do you have an answer?
Okay, so I know who Ahsoka Tano is. I am 100% sure. So Ahsoka is from the Clone Wars, and she was Anakin's Padawan, and then she decided some stuff happened to her, and some stuff happened to Anakin, and she was just like, "Hey, the Jedi maybe aren't like the coolest as they are right now." So she went off and she did her own sort of stuff, and now apparently she's all about the Jedi again in the live action things, which is
Yeah, that's fairly comprehensive. I'm shook.
Are you? I know Ahsoka. Well, I'm friends with you, so I have to know who Ahsoka is.
That's a fair point. So yeah, she is a Togruta who was Anakin's Padawan, then left the Order, was part of the foundation of the Rebellion, and then went on to do some weird Jedi stuff again.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked this question now, when we're about to enter a book which, spoilers, doesn't feature Ahsoka at all, is because
No.
I consider this book the start of our journey to Ahsoka wave, where this
Ooh.
book will start laying some building blocks down, which will play into the Ahsoka series.
I like that. That's very like official Star Wars feeling. Just to say the journey to Ahsoka is like that's something that they would use 100%.
Yeah, every time they do a new film, they have like a journey to publishing range, which usually include a few books. And the fandom has just kind of taken that title system and run with it. So, like, all the books set between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are known in some fan communities as the Journey to Empire Strikes Back comic series, which I quite like.
Yeah, I quite like it
Take
too.
Lucasfilm's publishing and run with it. So yeah, this is part of the Journey to Ahsoka.
Amazing. Nice. So you are very excited for Ahsoka, I take it.
Yeah, as I said in our celebration episode, I am not in love with the Ahsoka we've seen in live action so far,
Mm.
but the trailer can't help but get me very hyped.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I'm hoping it will feel more like the animated shows than the live action shows. No, I dislike the live action shows. Just tonally and character depth, they are very different beasts.
That's very fair. Plus, also, you get to see everyone's favorite blue boy.
Thrawn Nurodo, and you might get to see him soon. Not
Oh,
this week, but coming up, we are heading towards Thrawn.
okay, sick.
So, this book, A New Dawn, was released on September 2nd, 2014, making it the first canon novel, and also the first to use for story group. In fact, the book has a foreword by Dave Filoni, which I would like to just read something from.
Go for it.
Let me just flick through the pages. The quote is, "More important, the old concept of what is canon and what isn't is gone, and from this point forward, our stories and characters will all exist in the same universe. For key creatives who work on the films, television, comic books, video games, and novels are all connected creatively for the first time in the history of the Star Wars universe."
Oh,
And a bit of foreshadowing for you. Next week we're going to get onto our new section, retconnaissance, because as nice as that foreword is, there are a few times when canon doesn't quite stick together like Lego.
ooh, I like this as a section. This is a really interesting thing.
But yes, this book was written by Jonathan Jackson Miller. It's his only canon novel, but he's done a few short stories, and he's done some stuff for Legends, including my favourite comic series for Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, and a great novel
Ooh.
called Kenobi, which is the original story of Obi-Wan between episode 3 and episode 4, just on Tatooine, kind of dealing with Tuscan land disputes. And a last note is that this book takes place 11 BBY, so 11 years before
Okay.
Battle of Yavin.
Okay, cool.
So Emily, what were your thoughts on The Crawl?
I thought it was a really good one. Yeah, it was especially the last paragraph bit where they say, "Ah, the people whose lives have been destroyed by Palpatine's machinations, they're scattered about like unexploded bombs." I'm like, that's really cool. That's like a
Mm-hmm.
nice little bit of like a nice little bit of wording. Yeah,
That
very
also
very
plays
strong
into the
thought.
narrative we're about to go through.
My goodness.
But first, onto my spoiler-free review. A New Dawn is a weird book, in that it has an amazing opening which fails to really pay into the rest of the book. I mean, maybe it pays in too much? It's a weird one. The story has an amazing villain and supporting cast, but some of the leads feel a bit undercooked, especially when given as much spotlight as they are. The setting is also really cool, being a weird astrological body which we haven't seen before in Star Wars, I don't think. The writing is most MCU you'll find in a Star Wars novel, with all the characters quipping. When I was making notes of this, I was trying to get in every single dialogue line because most of them are so good. If you're a fan of Rebels, read this. If you're just a more passive Star Wars fan, this falls a bit into the prequels, where the main conflict is around meeting mining quotas. It does fall into the bureaucracy. I personally quite enjoy it in my Star Wars, but it may not be for you. Also, the reason we're doing this as the start of our journey to Ahsoka, and this also plays into the Aftermath series, which we're going to get to eventually, I swear. This is a lot of setting up for the rest of canon, being the first canon book. I feel like it's worth giving a read on that alone. I feel like the weaker point of view characters do bring it down, but all in all, this is a really good read, and I recommend giving it a shot. So, shall we begin?
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
This book starts with a prelude, taking place during the Clone Wars, with Master Obi-Wan Kenobi showing a class of younglings the emergency beacon in the Jedi Temple,
The boy himself.
and it's a device which can be used to call Jedi home. One of the younglings, who dreams of joining the conflict, called Caleb Dume, raises his hand and asks where exactly home is for a Jedi. And Kenobi explains, the Jedi Temple is for home to the Jedi. He goes back to his talk when Caleb raises his hand again. Outside, some of the other masters who are looking at the younglings, but maybe they're masters or maybe prospective masters, including Depa Billaba, who Caleb is hoping will be his master one day, is looking outside, and she's a bit confused why he's putting his hand up so much. But Caleb, undeterred, puts his hand up and says, "What kind of events would cause for Jedi to be called back home?" And Obi-Wan turns the question back around, asking Caleb what he thinks. He takes a moment to consider, and he replies, "Unexpected reasons,"
That's a bit broad.
which gets a laugh from his cohort. But Kenobi says, "You know what? Out of all the answers I've heard, it's the best one." He then dismisses the class, and they all leave, but Caleb is still there, raising his hand again. So Kenobi, now standing in the doorway, asks what Caleb's current question is. And Caleb says, if a message can call Jedi home, could it also tell them to stay away? And this kind of scares the other younglings. A master comes in and goes, "Don't worry, there's no reason we would tell Jedi to stay away from here." To which Kenobi cuts in and goes, "No expected reasons." After the lesson, Billaba and Caleb are talking, and Caleb asks his prospective master what he would do if a message came to stay away from the temple. No, he wouldn't know what to do, but Depa replies that maybe he would. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Republic forces have turned against the Jedi. Avoid Coruscant, avoid detection. Stay strong. May the Force be with you.
Uh-oh.
That is, of course, the message Obi-Wan sends out from this exact emergency beacon following the fall of the Jedi.
Dang. I really love that Kenobi, as a teacher, did the classic, like, a child asks you a question and they turn back and they go, "So what do you think?" Which is, like, the most infuriating thing that a teacher could possibly do.
You say that, I do some school talks about being queer, and whenever someone asks about pronouns, and how did you know what pronouns to use? I just go, how do you know which pronouns to use?
Right back at you.
Because it is just, it is like a catch-all kind of, it will either make them think, or they'll be like, "Oh, because I know who I am." Same.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I think in that context, yeah.
it's my favourite track.
I know you are, but what am I?
So Emily, we're now going on to Phase 1, Ignition, and I believe you have some HoloNet headlines to read.
I do, yes. I will read them. Okay. Can I do like a little like news like do like
You just did.
I did. Okay, ready? The Emperor unveils ambitious plans for the Imperial fleet expansion. Meanwhile, Count Vidian contributes star power to the new industrial inspection tour. Leftover unexploded ordnance from the Clone Wars also remains a concern.
Like a bomb waiting to go off.
Bum. Funny that. Bit of foreshadowing.
Space. Planet Gorse.
Space.
Perfectly in tune with its parent star. One side burned by the constant sunshine, and the other a warm night, covered in fluoride strip mines, used to build Star Destroyers. Known as one of the ugliest planets in the Outer Rim, it operates fluoride refineries, but the raw material now comes from its moon, Cinder, almost big enough to be counted as a double planet with Gorse. Once a tourist destination, it is currently where all the fluoride mines are based.
It's a bit mean to call it ugly.
And the Star Destroyer Ultimatum, which has just come out of hyperspace into the cargo lanes between these worlds. Captain Rae Sloane, on her first job as captain at the age of 20, though she's just subbing in for Yale Carslan.
I know this person.
You've heard that name before.
Yeah, I've heard this name before.
She's on the bridge of a Star Destroyer, and it's just come out of hyperspace, and a passing ship scratches it, causing Sloane to, say, put out a warning, tell everyone else if they come near, we're going to shoot them, when a mechanical voice behind her goes, "Forget the old ways."
Is that what the mechanical voice sounds like? It doesn't sound very mechanical.
"Ah, hello." Enter Count Donitus Vidian, a human male with cybernetic modifications, and a business consultant to the Empire known for reaching his quotas. His mantra is, Keep moving. Destroy barriers. See everything. And he has a degenerative disease that ate away his limbs and vocal cords and some of his skin, leaving him with armor-plated metal limbs, a metal speaker around his neck, and synthetic skin and eyes on his face. When he speaks, his mouth doesn't move, and his metal vocal collar allows him to have conversations on different channels without the people around him realizing.
Ooh.
He comes in and he tells Sloane that it would be a lot more efficient if a Star Destroyer just moved out of a shipping lane instead of them getting the shipping lane to go around it. So Sloane reluctantly gives the order. The ship they hit, which is Cinder Dreaming, is holding up a shipping lane, and after consulting they find out that it damaged itself when it hit Ultimatum. So Vidian orders Ultimatum to destroy it, which Sloane reasons, it's because, getting a replacement ship and crew takes less time than repairing a ship that's already there. And Vidian is impressed. You read my report, Sloane.
This man is definitely a Sith, right? Like you're doing the voice. That's like he's a count, and 2, you're doing a voice which makes me think this is definitely a Sith voice.
We'll wait and see.
Oh.
Meanwhile, in her ship, Twi'lek Hera Syndulla watches as the Star Destroyer destroys the ship. She's on a fact-finding mission to get information on the Count, as systems he visits rise in misery for reports of people who report issues disappearing. She has a contact meet on Gross, and she clones the transponder signal of another ship to slip into the convoy and starts making her way towards its moon, Cinder. Kanan Jarrus, an early 20s human male with long hair and a goatee, is currently working as an explosive hauler in his ship called Expedient, and he's also in the lanes leading from Gorse to Cinder. A ship that looks like a gem speeds past him, and he's transfixed and tries to keep pace, but fails. Over a speaker, he gets a message from Captain Sloane asking who he is and why he's holding up the convoy. He just replies, asking, "What are you wearing, lady?" Reasoning that it's hard to meet people out here.
Bro.
He tells her that he's carrying beryllium bisulfate, known as Baby, which is an explosive they use as part of a mining process. And Sloane realizes if she shoots him for holding up the convoy, the explosion will take out the convoy, so has to reluctantly, again, let him go. Kanan flies off and continues heading to the mines on Cinder. Out of the back of the ship, Okadiah Garson emerges. He's an older foreman for the mining company, and he's an owner of a bar called the Asteroid Belt on Gorse, and Kanan's landlord. He says he dreamt of a woman's voice, and he liked it, and asks Kanan where he can meet her.
God.
And Kanan just points out the window to Ultimatum, to which Okadiah goes, "That wasn't there yesterday."
Hang on, why? Like, we've met a few men here, and there's a very high ratio of horny ones, and I'm not sure how to feel about it.
Kanan asks Okadiah if he knew anyone on Cinder Dreaming. He replies that there was one person of the crew who had run up quite a tab, and Kanan points out the window again and says, "You can forget collecting." They land on the mines, but due to everyone rushing because of the Empire turning up, he ends up scratching another ship while landing, and its pilot, a Deveronian called Jelkan, comes out and gets in a fight with Kanan. Kanan, of course, wins, but to keep the crowd at bay, Okadiah promises happy hour will last all night.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, on Cinder, Kanan takes explosives in the elevator down to one of the mines in a massive cavern. And in the mines, he sees a couple of people talking. There's Lau Garlic, who is a female basilisk and the manager of Moonglow. She's married to a fellow basilisk, the security chief called Gord, who is on Gorse, looking after the refinery. Basilisks are, Dexter Jetster.
I'm not sure if I do. Dexter Jester.
You don't know Dexter Jetster?
I don't know who Dexter Jester
in Attack of the Clones, where Obi-Wan goes to the bar.
Oh, okay.
For Cantina.
Okay.
Dexter
Yeah.
is the four-armed guy who tells him about the Kaminoans.
The Kaminoans. Yes, okay, I can visualize this
So,
man now.
so Lal and Gord are both these four-armed creatures,
Okay.
and Lal
How
is
do you
currently
know all
getting.
of like these names? Like, it
On one hand, I have notes.
baffles
On the
me.
other hand, I've been hyperfixating on Star Wars for years.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So Lal is currently getting a lecture from Skelly, who is a male, a human male from Corellia, an explosive expert and Clone Wars veteran, and also a conspiracy theorist. During the Clone
Oh
Wars, he
no.
tried to save his platoon at the Battle of Slag Pit, but ended up losing his hand in the process and was knocked out. He woke up to find the war over, his platoon dead, and because of a shortage of prosthetics, he has a replacement hand which is meant for a Clatoonian, which is a different species. It's still kind of humanoid, but doesn't have all the fingers.
Oh dear.
He's currently jumping around mining companies because of his conspiracy theories. He usually gets fired pretty quickly.
I really love how if there was any battle in any war that you could choose not to die at, I think mine would be one called the Battle of Slag Pit. It just
You,
doesn't. It's no Helm's Deep, really, is it? You know?
you don't want to die at Slag Pit? I think you'd fit in very well at Slag Pit, personally.
Wow. Wow. Thanks. Okay, this podcast is over. It's been great seeing you guys.
uh, so Skelly is warning Lau that if they keep mining the way they are, then it could have dire consequences for the moon's infrastructure. It's got crystalline structure, explosives could damage that. But Lau manages to distract him by saying, "Oh, there's Kanan, go talk to him." Goes over to Kanan and is like, Kanan, you'll listen to me. And pulls out a data card saying, Kanan, go look at this data for me, Kanan, please.
Oh, Kanan, please.
And Kanan's like, no, don't think I will. Like, why are you bothering me? And he's like, you work at a bar, so people will listen to you whether they like it or not. He puts a hand on Kanan, so Kanan just throws him over onto the explosive tooler, takes him into the elevator, and is going to get another load of explosives. He gets out of the elevator, and Skelly's there left going, the Empire better look out or it will have a disaster on its hands. Ugh, no one ever listens to me.
I can't wait for this man to die. Please.
It turns out people weren't listening to him, and on Gorse, in the World Window Plaza, a company called Transit Media Solutions is monitoring all the surveillance on the planet and its moon. It was originally a marketing company that was outsourced to the Republic during the Clone Wars and now the Empire. And Zaluna Mida, who is a Celestian and the head of a team known as Midas Minox, heard threat to the Empire and recognized Skelly as the speaker. But she knew that he's harmless, so she didn't think too much about it. A team member of hers, called Heto, informs Luna that the pilot Skelly was talking to has no record. But Skelly himself has a red star, which means he's been spoken to by the mental health authorities on the planet.
Oh, it's nice to know that there are some.
Yeah, it's better than the UK currently.
I know, right? You have to wait like 2 years for that shit in the UK.
Maybe an awful mining company, but still, at least they have
They've
mental
got mental health specialists.
Yeah. Because Luna's heard Skelly's ramblings before, she's ready to let it go, when, overcome, they get a message from Count Vidian, saying that the mine is now on high security condition 1, with no exceptions. So, against her better judgment, Luna gets Heto to put a alert out for Skelly. Heto says that, Vidian's request is crazy, and suggests putting a red stamp on his file, but Luna quickly quiets him down, reminding him that they're never sure who's listening.
Uh-oh.
Back on Cinder, Count Vidian has landed to meet with the mining chiefs, and Plaffer, a Neumordian and head of a mining guild on the moon. Meanwhile, Hera leaves her shuttle in orbit, and taking a smaller ship but at the back of her main ship, she rides down to Cinder to spy on Vidian. Pretends to be a maintenance tech to get past, and it's my first day, I forgot my card, and manages to flirt her way through most of the guards, which, as a Twi'lek, is surprisingly easy to do.
I mean, that's kind of their special ability. That's like their, like when you play Skyrim and you pick a race and then they get like a trait. Like, if you're a Khajiit, you get like claws.
Mm-hmm.
to do unarmed damage. That's kind of what you get if you're a
Yep.
Twilight.
Just high charisma, but only if you flirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, if you pick there's like a cast of vampires in there that are just really good at flirting with people, and that's like their entire deal. It's a good game. If you can get it to run, then play it.
Skelly, who's fed of being ignored, hears about Vidian's visit and thinks if he can get his information to the Count, he'll definitely listen. Because he's read the Count's memoir, Forget the Old Ways, and is a big fan of how efficient he can be.
I love the Count, by the way. I do. Everything about the Count I just think is like really fun.
Rumour has it that he brought the title. He's not even a real Count.
See, I love that even more about him. He's just like he's just a fun guy, you know? I would read his book.
Thank you, Emily.
Oh, Count Vidian.
Yes?
It's me, Count Vidian.
Hello there.
It's the more you do the Count Vidian voice. I was like, okay, this voice sounds like one of your other ones, but I can't exactly place who it is. But the more it goes, the more it's getting closer, closer and closer. It's just getting so close. It's not Lando. I know whose voice it is, but I can't remember whose voice it is. It's not Lando, and it's not like the other guy that you do, who is like a lot of different guys. And it's not Paul McCartney.
But I do want to go into a dark temple.
Oh, there we go. Me dark temple.
Skelly sees some stormtroopers coming towards him and tries to get their attention in the hopes that they'll take him to Vidian. Instead, they raise their guns to arrest him, but he's just been setting some explosives, so he sets them off, manages to get away in the chaos. Vidian's meeting is going well, in that he's decreed that workers should work double speed to meet quotas, and that elderly workers shouldn't be kept, and his enforcer Imperial morale officers will be left in the mines to enforce these rules. But
Good job, Vidian.
When Plaffer argues against it, Vidian picks him up and kills him, and gets it written off as an industrial accident.
I love him. I love him so much. He's so fun.
Vidian's logic here is that if you fire someone, people led by ambition and greed rush to fill a vacuum, but if you kill them, then there's less of those career climbers trying to get the place.
Man knows his stuff.
He's walking around just saying to workers, "You're too old, you're too old." And he gets to Okadiah and goes, "Oh, you're definitely too old." And Okadiah goes, "And you're too ugly," which gets him picked up by the Counts.
What an idiot! He's just seen someone get killed.
As Okadiah is about to be put down, Kanan appears, holding a blaster to Vidian, and he tells Vidian that if he kills Okadiah, he'll be making a big mistake. Okadiah teaches all of Moonglow how to mine. They have the best numbers of any of the refineries. And Vidian lets him go. "I've already done my murder for the day. I'm feeling pretty good."
Is that an actual quote by Vidian?
No.
I've already done my daily murder.
Kanan goes to his next demolition spot, but finds out there's already explosives there. Noticing Skelly's tool bag nearby, he warns everyone to run. Explosives go off, collapsing the mine around him. Kanan moves like he hasn't in years. Like he hasn't since he left his life as Jedi Padawan Caleb June behind him, managing to get himself and the other miners out of the collapsing tunnel. Hera, who has been watching Vidian from a distance, saw Kanan stand up to him, and made notes to try and track him down later, as well as to look for Skelly. After the explosion, some of the floor collapses in, and Vidian falls through, and she hopes he's dead.
I don't.
Only to hear his voice.
Oh, yeah.
"Due to the crystalline structure of this moon, this shouldn't be allowed to happen. What's going on here?" And she uses the chaos to escape the moon. Kanan has also escaped the moon, just before a grounding order has come through. He plans to go back to the bar, grab his go bag, and leave the planet as fast as he can. But he sees ties heading towards him from Ultimatum. He starts to panic, but a voice behind him goes, "Don't worry, they're not looking for you." And Skelly is stowed away.
Oh.
Kanan's angry at Scully, saying that he could have got him killed, and Scully's like, I looked at the mining spreadsheet and you're not meant to be working there today.
Oh, this guy.
And Kanan informs him that the Empire have ordered double commands, double shifts. But Scully runs forward and tries to hail the Imps, thinking, after that explosion, they know my research is right. They want to speak to me. They want to call me a hero.
I hate this man.
And Kanan throws him into a passenger chair and breaks its latch, locking him in. And then he points out that the night shift of miners is still going to Cinder, which means that, they've obviously not stopped mining. Hera, also Mia, notices that one other ship managed to leave, and so it swerved from the TIE fighters were deployed, and reasons that Scully must have been on it. Meanwhile, also leaving the moon, Vidian has entered his sleep cycle. He doesn't sleep as long as most people, his cybernetics mean he doesn't need to.
He's so cool.
But he likes to take a couple of hours to just review the recordings from the day, and working out which ones he puts into permanent storage, and which ones he deletes.
It's good to be organised,
Things like shipment logs he keeps, the murder he did, he just deletes because he knows it will have no repercussions. Deletes Kanan, but he thinks about the word he said, Moonglow, and he looks it up. And sure enough, they have got the best... They're not meeting their quotas, but they're the closest to meeting their quotas.
Yeah, who is meeting their quotas in this day and age?
During this process, he gets an alert from Sloane that it's an incoming message from Coruscant, from his rival, Baron Lero Damph of the Droid Dynasty.
Boo.
And he informs Vidian that the Imperial demands for Forlight have increased by another 50%.
Oh, God.
Upon returning to Ultimatum, Sloane meets him, and he plans a visit to Gorse with her accompanying him. He uses her temporary command to tempt her, saying that, if you do a good job here, maybe I can get Yeo Carslan reassigned, and you'll get to keep Ultimatum.
See, he's such a nice guy. He's so he's so generous.
Why, yes I am, Emily.
Can you say I have a new second favourite Star Wars villain now? I love Count Vidian.
In the Midas Minox offices, stormtroopers have descended. Because of Scully being a suspected bomber, Sluna feels bad for letting him off so many times, and she's worried it will have repercussions for her and her team. But realising he hasn't been seen on Cinder, she decides to check Gorse, and sure enough, he's in a Moonglow HQ, strapped to some kind of piloting chair, just been taken out of one of the ships.
I do want to say, I thought you said that he hadn't been seen on Tinder for a minute, and I forgot the moon was called Cinder. So
I know, Scully has been seen on Tinder regularly.
He's always seen on Tinder. The man has just no luck.
He's a guy in this book, Emily. Of course he's been on Tinder.
Yeah, this is true. Everyone is weirdly horny.
Heto calls Luna over to some flower pots to have in the office, pretends to tend them, or revealing to Luna that he's been speaking to some people over HoloNet. And at that moment, a stormtrooper comes to arrest him for acting against the Empire. As he leaves, he looks up to one of the plant pots, and Luna, tends to water it, looks at it, and finds inside a data cube, along with a little post-it with the location of a bar and one word. Hera.
Ooh.
So Kanan tries to give the keys to Expedia back to Gord, but Gord convinces him to have a meal and come back when Lala's around, trying to convince him to stay. He don't want to leave yet. So Kanan goes over to the restaurant across the road from the Moonglow refinery called Bogan, which is owned by a basilisk chef called Draka. There's a lot of these four-armed boys on this planet.
There are. How's the food? Is it good?
Probably pretty awful.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, that's not fair. Draka's a good chef.
Yeah, leave him alone.
Just not many menu options, mostly stew. While eating...
I love a good stew, though.
Is there anything here, or... Tell me about your favourite stew, Emily.
Sorry. I like stew. It's good. It's a solid meal option. It's very warming in the winter time.
I also like stew, Emily. Tell me about stew.
Oh, Count Vidian.
What are your favourite stew ingredients?
Well, I make this really nice like Korean stew which has like gochujang paste in it. And
Mmm.
that's really, really nice. It has like that and it has like pork ribs in it, so it's really, really tasty. And you put it in the slow cooker and you cook it for like 4 hours
Oh,
minimum.
you've lost me.
It's really, really nice.
Count Vidian is a vegan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Count Vinian. I can make you a vegan version, I'm sure.
That's not in the autobiography because there's a lot of prejudice against vegans, but
He's just being cautious. He's worried about his reputation.
as Kanan eats, he thinks about his life to this point. And he realizes the Jedi, whether meant to or not, kind of raised for perfect fugitives, you know, no attachment, good skills, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
And he thinks about Obadiah, who's the closest he's allowed himself to get to anyone, and what he assumes a father figure would have been like. From the entranceway, a local thug, a one-horned Chandrillan called Charco, heckles Kanan, but Kanan, knowing that Draco won't let anything go down in his restaurant, slowly finishes his meal before exiting, goes out of the bar, goes, Charco, Charco, where are you? And he sees, up the street, the silhouette of Charco and his gang, the Sarlaccs, talking to a hooded figure before running off into the side alleys. As Kanan approaches, the figure speaks to him in an enchanting female voice, asking how to get to Moonglow. It's so enchanting that Kanan is left speechless.
This is gonna get horny, isn't it?
So after a few moments,
Yeah, this is getting horny already.
the speaker just says, "Never mind, I'll find it myself," and walks away. And Kanan tries to follow, but he ends up getting 4 hands on his back because he forgot to pay Draco for the food.
This man just stared at her. He just stared. And then she was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go.
Vidian calls Gord and Lau, telling him that the Empire will be there to pick up Skelly soon. He also says, "Since your refinery is the best operating, I'll be there to inspect it in 12 hours.
Ugh.
After their call, Gord turns to Lau and says, you know that Kanan guy? He wants to quit. And Lau's like, yeah, I can't really blame him. I mean, it was an awful day at the mine for a bunch of explosions. He could have died, but he did manage to save some of my guys, so I kind of want to thank him for that. And at that moment, they get a ping from the repulsor left. And Gord, expecting it to be the Imperials, goes to meet them, except outside there are no Imperials. It's Charco and his gang stealing the Moonglow hover truck.
Oh no!
As Gord and the guards go
Oh,
chasing
no.
after him, Skelly thinks out loud, it's weird, but they pressed a buzzer. Like, why would you alert someone of your thievery?
True.
And a female voice behind him replies, "It's because of you, Skelly." As she unstraps him, Skelly asks who she is, and she replies, "Hera." Skelly doesn't really want to be saved, you know. If the Empire comes to get him, they'll probably take him to meet Vidian. But also, Hera promises to listen to him.
And we all want to
happy
meet Vidian.
finally, happy to finally have someone willing to listen to him, Skelly goes along with the escape. But once he's freed, Hera runs off. How will I find you? Skelly asked. To which Hera replies, "I'll find you." In the street, still looking for the hooded figure, Kanan's almost hit by a Imperial transport, going one way, then a hover truck going the other, and he sees this big 4-armed guy running down with some other guys, and he just decides that he's too sober to put up with this, and wants to head to a bar.
Mood.
But as he passes a side alley, he sees the hooded figure talking to Charco again, some of his lackeys, giving them 100 credits for their work. But Charco thinks that if she has 100 credits to give him, she may have 100 more. Kanan calls to Charco, threatening to intervene, liking both 7-1 odds. But before he can do anything, the girl throws off her cloak, revealing her green Twi'lek body. Kanan is momentarily stunned by her beauty, but
fuck's sake,
quickly,
Kanan.
but with Charco running towards him, quickly gets into action, taking Charco down, making him unconscious. And once he's done, he looks up to see the rest of the gang have been taken out by the girl, who's now nowhere to be seen. He picks up her cloak as a souvenir and heads to the end of the alley, where she is. She takes her cloak back and leaves, disappears again. Kanan shouts
I
into the
can't.
night, "What's your name?" And the wind whispers back, "Hera."
I cannot believe that they've made a Star Wars character whose biggest weakness is boobs, basically.
Sex the lady. Sex the lady too much.
What can I say? He liking the ladies.
Vidian, he's taking down all our stormtroopers. There's one option: release the thoughts.
See that Vidian. This is why Vidian is smart. Vidian would realize this.
It'll be a lot more efficient if we make all the morale officers completely ripped.
Just stupidly ripped.
A bit of eye candy for the workers. Ho ho.
Well, this is out of character for Vidian. Vidian wouldn't give the workers anything. The eye candy would be for him and him alone.
Scully goes home to Crimpus Commons, housing for Clone Wars veterans, which has been poorly maintained by the Empire. In his exercise yard, hidden behind a bin, there's a ladder down to an abandoned bomb shelter, which Scully has hijacked as a conspiracy base.
Of course he has a conspiracy base.
He hears Hera behind him, shocked by how quickly she followed him. And she says that, I told you I'd find you, before revealing she put a tracker on him when she freed him and asking for it back.
She air tagged him.
Hera, wanting some information, thinks quickly and tells Scully she's a reporter from the Environmental Action Gazette, a publication which Scully hasn't read, but he had heard that it had been shut down.
I wonder why.
So Hera replies, "It's just retooling, and we want to offer you a spotlight for a big relaunch." Scully takes her through his ravings. Thanks to its core, Gorse could take relentless mining, but Cinder's crystalline cores, if they get bombed too much, could shatter, and the body itself could collapse. Hera says that, this is big news, but it's not earth-shattering. To which Scully replies, no, it literally is earth-shattering.
It's moon-shattering.
Hera, deciding that Scully is just a conspiracy theorist, decides that this isn't going to work out and leaves. Or Scully's like, no, the additional fluoride, the Empire's making super Star Destroyers and super Star Destroyers.
Oh god, all roads lead back to Exegol.
As she leaves, Hera thinks about Kanan. She's seen him stand up to the Empire, but would he do it off his own back? But she has a meeting to get to. After work, Luna headed straight home and looked at the data cube Heto gave her. It's a bunch of their surveillance, but weirdly enough, the surveillance itself didn't seem to be what was tagged. More how the surveillance was captured, where the cameras were, where the speakers were, what's done with the data. She decides to risk the meeting with this Hera person. As she's walking to the pub, she gets heckled by someone. She goes, do you know my name? Why would I know your name? If you don't know my name and don't talk to me, and because she worked in surveillance so long, she knows their name and goes, go back to your family, before entering the asteroid belt. In the asteroid belt, a miner tries to start a fight with Kanan, who's had enough today. He warns them that anyone else who tries to start anything will end up in the local med center. But an onlooker informs him that the local med sector has just been shut down by the Empire to relocate all the sick to a new med center nearer the mine so they can get back to work quicker.
Thanks,
Kanan just kind of shrugs it off and goes, okay, anyone messes with me will end up in the morgue. Savvy? Okadiah, standing at a bar, sees Kanan's agitated and works out a woman's involved. And says, she may have just entered. And Kanan looks up to see a Celestian walking in. Seluna moves across the bar floor, carefully avoiding cameras. When she gets to the bar, she asks for two men standing there if she can put behind it for a second. She goes onto the sink for one place in the bar, no one working with a check, and disables the secret cameras, which Okadiah is shocked to learn about. She continues to be the worst at espionage, telling Kanan that she's been watching him for a while and that she knows there's goodness in him, And Kanan argues, like, no, I didn't help people. When a voice behind him goes, "That's not what I've seen."
Oh,
He turns to see Hera standing there, who claims she's here to seize Luna, but Kanan knows she's really here for him.
of course, Kanan would think that.
He tries to hang around, but Hera keeps sending him away, which kind of hurts his feelings. He's beginning to think that maybe she is here to seize Luna.
Yeah, maybe she's not that into you, dude.
But Luna says, "Look, I've seen this guy on the CCTV cams. He seems like an alright sort. Perhaps he can stay." So he pulls out the data cube and gives it to Hera, commenting that it's weird to be on this side of the cameras. Hera looks through the data and it's everything she wanted. There's even records of the requests made from Ultimatum through the Transept servers, including a high-level request for information on someone called Lemuel Farsa, who visited the system years ago. Hera asks if she can keep the data cube and make a copy of it, but seeing someone entering a bar, Luna gets spooked, grabs the cube and runs.
No.
At that moment, Skelly appears next to them, happy to see that Kanan and Hera are acquaintances. In fact, he probably says something like, "I'm happy to see that you two are acquaintances."
God, this guy.
Skelly tells them both that he's found out that Vidian will be at Moonglow in a few hours. He wants Kanan's security guard so he can get near to him and talk to him. He assumed that, as Kanan made a big deal about leaving Moonglow, it wouldn't be an issue for him to have it. But Kanan won't let Skelly go near this guy. Kanan kind of tells Hera off for freeing Skelly. And Hera's like, okay, if he's here, the Emperor will probably be here soon. I've got to get up and leave. And at that moment, the Empire knocks on my door.
But she was right.
Hera suggests a side door, but Kanan can hear a troop carrier parked outside. So he grabs Skelly and Hera and takes them down a corridor behind the bar, coming back out again shortly after as a stormtrooper comes up to question him about a bomber or a pilot who left Cinder earlier. Kanan assures him he's just a bartender, as one of the troopers goes down the corridor behind him. At the door at the end, they're about to open it. Because I wouldn't go in there by you. There's a Wookiee throwing up in there. At that moment, it's like a behind the door.
Beautiful.
Okay, it says, Hera, clean up this mess, will you? And Hera comes out wearing an apron. She's up to the back of her, you, putting on 2 face masks. The stormtroopers getting spooked decide to leave a bar. They can't get any information here. Hera's surprised by Kanan's planning, and he says he has experience avoiding stormtroopers, which piques her interest more. Hera then says, "Hey, Kanan, can I have your Moonglow pass if you won't give it to Skelly, so I can get an Vidian?" And Kanan's like, "Hera, look, you seem lovely. Your taste in men's awful."
Oh, God. That's the worst thing that anybody said this entire book. Frankly, Count Vidian is a fucking catch.
This Vidian guy isn't that sexy. He hasn't even got a goatee.
Nobody does have a mechanical voice box.
As Hera goes to leave, Kanan's like, no, fine, I'll help. I'm thinking quick. He's like, he looks at the bar of drunkards and calls out into the crowd, "Okadiah, give me a review." To which Okadiah just, as far as Hera's aware, a voice from the mass goes, "A fine pilot, an occasional humanitarian, a somewhat tolerable house guest. Marry him, my darling."
Oh, God.
Trying to work out where the voice came from, Kanan is, again, desperate to prove his worth. He's like, "Okadiah, do you know anything about Lemuel Farsa?" Okadiah is like, "No, I don't, but Lao may have records from him from the pre-Moonglow days." They make a plan to the next morning, which will still be night, because on the night side, of course, everything's always night, to sneak into Moonglow Refinery. And Kanan offers to set Hera up for the night with some board, but she declines, going back to her ship instead.
She probably doesn't trust him.
I wouldn't trust him.
No.
On her ship, she checks for mining records and looks up Lemuel Farsa, finding out he's a mining consultant for the Empire, alive and well. And she wonders why anyone in the Ultimatum will be looking into him. And that takes us into Phase 2, Reaction.
Phase 2? Is it perhaps time for some HoloNet headlines?
Mayhaps.
The Emperor opens
Baby,
a new
give it up,
veterans...
give it up, baby, give it up.
Keep that in, keep that in. No. The Emperor opens a new Veterans Med Center on Coruscant. A hunt is underway for the missing after an industrial accident on Cinder. And Count Vidian, the best boy, very handsome, arrives on Gorse for an inspection tour. Traffic delays are possible.
On the way down to Gorse, Vidian takes his shuttle down over a med center which he shut down, which Sloane finds weirdly out of character, delaying the schedule. When they get there, it explodes. They continue on to Shaketown to get to Moonglow Refinery. Once they landed, they were met by stormtroopers and local police in a small procession which Sloane found a bit pitiful, but she could tell that Vidian wasn't even watching it, having something else up on his optics. Lal arrives to meet them, who Sloane says they should have fired after losing Scully. Just as they start the tour, the hover bus from the asteroid belt, which is kind of a service that Kanan and Okudai run, so the miners get from work, they get to the bar, they get drunk, but they just drive them back to the refinery in the morning to go back to work. The bus offloads, and Hera, wearing a black tactical outfit, which Kanan finds quite nice to look at,
Fuck off, Kanan.
taking Kanan's ID card with her.
Let the woman do her job.
Kanan drives off of a bus round the corner to wait for Hera to be done, but he swears he hears like a banging from the toilet on the bus, but it's been jammed shut for months, so it's probably nothing, right? On a roof across the road, Skelly watches everyone arrive. He knows Moonglow is connected to the sewer system, so he jumps down behind Draka's restaurant to get in, only to be found by the basilisk. Skelly says that he's only trying to get past the Empire, and Draka, who his business is being put off, he's losing business thanks to the Empire's presence nearby, opens the sewer grates for Skelly and lets him in.
What a guy. He makes the best stew.
I thought I made the best stew, Emily.
I'm sorry, Vidian. Listen, I support your life choices, but I'm not sure if I can do the vegan thing. I'm so sorry.
Rare. Once in the facility. Yep.
Why did he just go rare?
When he's displeased, he makes mechanical squawking sounds.
Okay, that's fair enough.
This is canon to his character.
This is canon. This is fully canon.
But there's even a bit in the book about him making a mechanical squawk.
Aww. That's just a fun little quirk,
I commit to my bits, Emily. Once in the facility, Skelly gets into the same room as Vidian, just as Gord and the stormtroopers are called off to look for another intruder. Lau takes Sloane to see some mining equipment, leaving Vidian alone. When Skelly is about to jump down, Vidian turns up to the rafters and stares right at him. I know you're there.
Nothing gets past this man.
Skelly jumps down and tries to offer Vidian his research, but the Count whacks the data disk out of Skelly's hand. Skelly, confused, tells the Count that he's just trying to help. Help by dying!
I fucking love Vidian.
In the event, Hera sees Gord pass underneath him. She feels bad for probably getting him in trouble by releasing Skelly. That's when Gord notices a dip in the air vent. Tells his men to start firing.
Uh-oh.
Sloane comes back into the room to find Vidian beating this strange person who wasn't there before. Getting his footing momentarily, Skelly manages to escape, and Vidian tells Sloane to lead a hunt for him, picking up the data disk and saying that if anyone finds Skelly, tell him it's been destroyed before he dies. Show him that destroying the Empire is futile. She leaves the factory, runs into the street, and she sees a man looking shady by a hover truck. So she takes him into custody. Skelly manages to get back out through the sewers, but he realises he's lost a few teeth in his encounter. He's broken badly by his meeting with Vidian, and plans to become the terrorist everyone thinks he is.
Wow. Okay. So this guy had like one bad experience with Vidian and was just like, I'm going to become a terrorist.
It was his one hope to save the moon, and now he's like, oh, I need to like stop mining somewhere else. I'll just destroy their equipment.
Okay, so he's going like industrial terrorism now.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, you know what? I love that for him.
Lau takes Vidian in to see the acid baths when Droid Baron Dampf calls and tells Vidian that the Emperor is asking for quotas to be tripled from the original. When the call is over, Vidian extends his orders to Lau, who laughs at him. Angry that Lau couldn't even meet the original quotas, he pushes her into one of the acid baths and leaves.
Damn. That's what you get for laughing at Vidian.
He reminisces that normally he mines fluoride using deep space mining droids, and they could do a better job than any of these organics. Then he remembers Skelly's warning, and he looks for the data card and puts it in his pocket. Hera is drawn out by the screams, enters the acid bathroom at the same time as Gord. And when Gord realizes who fell in, he starts to cry and tries to fish out his wife. Hera jumps down to, stop him from going in after her. And angry, accusing Hera of being the one to push her in, he takes her into custody to find out what happened.
Uh-oh.
In the security room, Sloane questions Kanan, recognizing his voice from their first talk as the mouthy pilot. He assures her that he works at Moonglow, and Sloane asks to see his pass, just as Gord brings Hera in. Hera gives Kanan back his pass, and then Sloane asks where Hera's pass is, and she just goes, I couldn't have got in without it, could I? Sloane is really annoyed by this, and she's ready to arrest every single person in this room. But at that moment, Vidian calls her, telling her to get back to Ultimatum so they can strategize.
Thanks,
she lets
Vidian.
the prisoners go, and outside Hera tells Kanan about Lal. Seeing Vidian about to enter his shuttle and leave, Hera tells Kanan they need to follow, but Kanan points out they haven't got a ship here. Looking at the shuttle, Kanan sees a bag near a sewer grating under it, grabs Hera, and drops to the floor. The shuttle's explosion doesn't kill Vidian, but it does set Drakas's restaurant on fire, so Kanan runs across to help him.
The stew!
As Hera goes to leave, she sees Gord coming out, trying to get the stormtroopers to turn on Vidian and arrest him. He shows each one of them a datapad one by one, presumably of a hollow recording of the murder. But as he tries to get past him, they just throw him to the floor and start beating him.
Oh no.
One of the stormtroopers finds the hover bus parked nearby, and they commandeer it for the Empire. Hera and Kanan, desperate to get after the hover bus, hijack a hover truck and chase down the bus.
It's a hover race.
Mm-hmm. Kanan says that Hera's the only person to stick his head out for, he swears. But she knows that's a lie. She saw him rush to help Draka, and even help Skelly. At the spaceport, Hera tells Kanan that something is different with Vidian. He seems less composed now. Something's changed. Kanan offers her an ultimatum. Either she can meet him at the public spaceport and they can go off together, or she can continue chasing down Imperials alone. Hera leaves him, which disappoints him, but he then turns to see her running back. He waits for the apology, and then realises that the Empire is also moving away from the newly landed replacement shuttle.
Just as it explodes. So presumptuous. Oh god.
Kanan and Hera get down as some debris flies past them. A speeder bike? With Skelly on it? Skelly blew up the second shuttle, but in his escape wrecked his ride. Count Vidian in an amplified voice tells, "Whoever you are back there, we have you surrounded. Please surrender." Hera realizes that due to the explosion, there's enough smoke to have hidden their faces, but if they turn to run or fight, they'll be killed. A voice tells them to put down their weapons, and Kanan shoots back, "They're not holding any!" To which Gord replies he's not talking to them. A gun in each of his 4 hands, he decrees he's here to arrest Vidian. Sloane asks on whose authority, and a firefight ensues. Skelly manages to drag himself inside the hover bus, hijacking it back from the hijackers, and Kanan and Hera get aboard.
There's so
Hover
much
bus.
going on right now.
Yep. It's
So much is happening.
it's a lot.
There's hijackings and re-hijackings. People are going sicko mode. There's smoke everywhere.
Do you like the next bits?
There's so much happening. Okay, alright.
Vidian beats Gore to death.
Yay!
I'm sick of this conspiracy! Sloane, put up roadblocks for his 2 TIE fighters, get them in the air.
This poor man's wife just got pushed into a vat of acid.
And now he's with her in heaven.
Ah, that's alright then. That's okay.
Scully you can kill, but the other 2 I want alive for interrogation. And a chase ensues between the hover bus, which is barely functioning anymore after all the explosions it's been through, and 2 TIE fighters. But Kanan, using a parachute, manages to take one of them out. Hera rides the hover bus off a ramp and manages to get the thing flying. And just in shock, the pilot just flies into something and crashes.
Classic.
Kanan directs Hera to an abandoned mine where they can hide out. And at a moment, he hears a banging from the door to the toilets. He forces the door open and finds Luna trapped inside. After she left the bar last night, she saw the Empire closing in, assuming they were after her. She hid in the bathroom and then got trapped inside. She's worried about her job and her team, but she could now be a fugitive. And she goes into a bus, finds a surveillance device. Kanan's like, hang on, wait, do they know where we are? But Zuna's like, no, this is a local one. It just uploads to the server once a week. It's fine. So the 3 of them. Sorry, Skelly's there. So the 4 of them. It's easy to forget Skelly. So the 4 of them head back to the asteroid belt.
It is easy to get Skelly. You are right.
On ultimatum, Vidian goes through his plans, and is told it could work, but the Frauleite could be lost and tests would be needed. Upon finding out if her plan succeeds, Gorsk could be unlivable in 10 years. Sloane has doubts, but Vidian assures her that everyone will get a new job for the Empire, or be able to make their own way out, and anyone who can't isn't really worth living, are they? If they're not useful and they can't pay their way out of this, then they should just die.
He's so good. He's like the Ebenezer Scrooge of Star Wars. He's just so comically fucking corrupt and evil. He's so good.
He just wants efficiency.
Yeah,
Efficiency.
This man just wants efficiency, and I don't blame him. It's okay.
Well, Skelly's Luna and Hera are looking at data upstairs. Kanan's down at the bar. He's got his go bag out as Okadiah walks in. They talk about Lau's fate for Hover Bus, and Kanan says that luckily a customer seems to have dropped enough money to buy a replacement. They share a drink, and Kanan goes upstairs to talk to his co-conspirators. Hera tells Skelly off for his tactics, saying that they're not here to start a rebellion. The word rebellion scares Luna, and Skelly and Kanan both push against it. So Luna, looking at the bus's surveillance feed, finds out what Vidian's planning. He's using Skelly's hypothetical model on how the moon could get destroyed to actually destroy it, but he'll bring in his space miners and mine up the wreckage.
You know what? That's actually really smart.
Why are you such a Vidian simp?
No! Because he's funny. And also, that's actually legitimately actually smart. There's no way that he would be able to meet these quotas that the Emperor's given him unless he destroyed the thing and then brought in, big fucking fuck-off ships to come and,
half of Gorse is already
unlivable.
unlivable. Why do you want the other side to be made unlivable?
You said at the start that it's been voted the ugliest planet in the Outer Rim. Nobody's gonna miss it.
What about the people, Emily? The people?
Oh, there are more planets. There's plenty more planets in the galaxy.
But not everyone will be able to get off, Emily.
Well, the ones that can't get off. If they're not useful, then what's the point of having them alive anyway?
Wow, you're sounding like an Imperial.
No, it's not. It's not the best. Maybe there should, if Vidian wasn't so concerned with cost-saving measures, if the economy was better, then maybe Vidian would organize an evacuation effort. But just the economy is just, evacuations in this economy, unlikely.
The next morning, the four conspirators head onto the streets disguised as blood cultists.
As you do.
They make it to a graveyard, which is equidistant between Luna's house, Skelly's house, and the spaceport. And Kanan says it's time for them to part ways. Hera plans to help Luna leave the planet and relocate. Skelly wants to go blow up an explosive storage plant on Gorse, which will hopefully slow the Empire down on their plans to bomb the moon. And Kanan, he's going to run away.
No shit.
Hera, having seen him leave Okadiah some money, gives Kanan some money for his help. And as he walks to the end of the road, he looks up to the sky wondering where next. When Cinder explodes.
Uh-oh.
Not the whole body, just a relatively small area. A relatively small area Kanan worked at every day, and a place Okadiah should be working at now.
Oh shit. Uh-oh.
Hera yells at him, but he can't hear. He grabs a speeder and rides off into the distance. Skelly, Hera, and Luna get their bearings, and Hera tells them both to come with her so she can get them both far away from here. As they're discussing, a ship pulls over overhead. Expedia with Kanan flying. Okadiah's unit is in trouble, and they need their help, so he orders Hera to fly them through the debris to the mine.
So we're back in the mines.
Once they get to Cinder, Hera and Kanan get in for 2 spacesuits that are in the shuttle. As they go in, they find Yelkin's crushed, and they find Okadiah turning blue from the lack of air. Leg pinned. Okadiah tells Hera to come close, coughing as he speaks, and tells her that Kanan is a good boy. Kanan felt as useless as he did when his master died. He picks up Okadiah's body and returns to the ship.
I mean, to be fair, Okadiah is a real one. Because, he really kept that whole, yeah, this guy, you should definitely marry this guy. And he used his dying breath for it. Which is kind of, find yourself somebody like that.
On ultimatum, Vidian tells Sloane that the tests went well. One of his scientists, Mr. Lemuel Farser, has approved the full destruction of Cinder, which generate as much fluoride as 2,000 years of current mining.
Oh, genius.
He's issued a press release that a comet has hit Cinder to stop the planet below panicking. As he leaves the bridge, he tells Sloane that their plan could be the making of her. Sorry, Sloane? This plan could be the making of you.
Thank you.
Still in the pressurized hangar on Cinder, Luna is amazed to be in the mines she's been watching for years. Hera and Kanan bury Okadiah in a side passage, and as they return, Kanan gets a message on the general mining frequency from Count Vidian. All mining vessels in between Gorse and Cinder, which by Skelly's count would be thousands. Please follow ultimatum to the Kalkaron system to pick up a more volatile version of beranium, known as 357. Naughty baby to the haulers.
Naughty baby.
The message continues with Sloane's voice warning that no traffic will be permitted between planets, and TIEs will be patrolling. Kanan suggests they should go over the convoy and try to stop them, but Hera says they can only go if everyone agrees, one by one, with Skelly saying Gorb would have also been with them, until only Kanan is left. He says that his friends on Gorse aren't the only ones he's lost to the Empire's deceit, which catches Hera's attention. But then, all in, they jump in the ship and start flying to the coordinates. Phase 3, Detonation.
Bum. Count Vidian is leading the mining guild in a heroic effort to stabilize the moon. Yeah. Blast investigators are turning their eyes to mining firms. And also, the tourism industry watchers suggest busy season for the travel ahead.
Kalkaron, a planetary inner rim covered in a Red Sea. Its natural water body makes it prime real estate for manufacturing, with multiple space stations in orbit, including one owned by Mr. Countess
Countess
Vidius.
Vidius.
Sloane watches the convoy from Gorse approach the facility, as she's told about a possible destruction that could fall to Gorse after the explosion. It turns out the lab techs are betting on how long it will take for the planet to be unlivable, with one saying if it's destroyed within a year, she's getting a trip to Alderaan fully paid for.
Let's hope that's a very recent trip to Alderaan, and she's not going to put that off for a while.
They have 11 years. It's fine.
That's alright, that's good.
Sloane also looks out to see Vidian's personal ship, called Forager. It's made of 6 black spears, reminding her of some kind of insect. With doubts in Vidian's plan forming, Sloane gets a personal communication from the droid baron himself, telling her that if she ever needs anything, he's available to her. She then gets a tour from the facility, and Vidian's impressed by how much interest she seems to be showing. As they approach the station, Expedia gets hailed by the Star Destroyer. Kenny replies with his Moonglow IP, but he's told it's incorrect. No. I definitely work for them. But that's not the issue. Moonglow doesn't exist anymore. You're now going to be given a new Imperial ID.
Ooh.
Luna informs him that Moonglow had been blamed for mining disasters on Cinder, which Hera comments is the way the Empire honours your death.
I thought it was a comet. I thought the comet was the cover story.
Yeah, but they're changing their cover story regularly.
Fair enough. Because, the best way to do a cover story is to change it every 5 minutes.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Like, the original explosion was a mining accident, then the second was a comet, and now it's Moonglow did both. As they land on the storage facility, Hera says that she plans to blow it up, but Kanan points out that's not a good plan. If this Forelide is something the Empire really want, they'll just get the naughty baby from somewhere else. He, feeling the foolish heroics of his past inside him, instead suggests they change Vidian's report to Coruscant and say the Forelide would be destroyed, getting the operation shut down from the inside. Sloane is able to track Vidian through the station and get them to him, and as they land, everyone is now wearing the standardized mining hazmat suits, due to the explosives being held in a toxic material for stabilization, which makes it easier for the gang to move around. Sadly, all crews are being confined to the docking area, with an automated ramp bringing the product to them. Kanan manages to break the ramp by jamming it with a droid, but as he walks back towards the ship, Sloane, who is marshalling the process, asks what he's doing. Kanan, without breaking sweat, picks up the hover lift and says, "You know what? If the explosive won't come to us, we'll go to them." And Sloane kind of seethes a little bit. She didn't give the order herself.
Ooh.
As they move through the station, Sloane is able to jam the cameras, and Hera is sure that the holocube was worth this whole mission. Skelly is struggling to walk. It's become clear that he's badly hurt from his earlier meeting with Vidian. The group make it to what seems to be a med centre. Skelly helps himself to some of the health packs, as a chair in the centre of the room lifts up, through the ceiling to another room above, Vidian's private seat. In the room, he thinks back to his past life, a life that made him ill. He used to be a mining consultant, going from place to place, but all the toxic chemicals gave him a degenerative disease, which ate at his flesh.
That's kind of sad.
Every single suggested improvement he put through in his old life got ignored by his superiors because it was too costly. He didn't care about the efficiency at all.
My god.
And while he was hospitalised for multiple years, he manages to trade stocks and get a profit.
Holy shit. He was in his hospital bed on the stock exchange. While you guys were recuperating.
Once he was well enough to walk again, he bought the old mining firm, firing everyone who worked for it.
Damn.
While in the hospital bed, he made the identity of Count Vidian, and now he's returned to destroy all traces of his past life. As he sends his report to Coruscant, he warns a pair of intruders that he knows they're in the room. Hera holds a gun to Vidian, to which he says, "You I don't know. Kanan attacks him behind with a crowbar. He turns and grabs Kanan's neck and goes, "You I do know." Hera, still holding a gun. Vidian warns, "If you shoot me, the bullets will just bounce off metal and hurt your friend."
Incredible.
She shoots past his head. And when no one comes running into the room, she assumes that no one can hear what's happening in there, and that Vidian will want his privacy in his quarters. Luckily, the shot shocked Vidian into dropping Kanan, so Hera starts unloading her blaster on him. Sure enough, it bounced off his skin. Vidian catches Kanan, and then a stasis field holds Hera. Kanan and Hera share a look, which says, "Skelly's too weak to help us, and Luna won't." Vidian looks at the pair. "I should torture you, but you'll make good practice for my droids." He pulls out a scalpel. As he heads towards Kanan, Hera reminds Count that, no, interrogating us would be good. And Kanan reminds, like, "Oh yeah, torture me before you torture me. Great idea, Hera." Vidian puts the scalpel back down and brings up a torture droid. As the droid goes towards Kanan, it suddenly turns on Vidian. And on the chair rise Skelly and Luna. The torture droid injects Vidian with a concoction, but knocks him out. Skelly, now getting massaged by one of the medical droids in the room, wants to kill Vidian, but Hera doesn't want to give the Empire any reason to suspect there's a rebellion on Gorse.
Yeah, don't kill Vidian.
Having seen how they handle resistance. Luna tries to get into the system so they can send the report to Coruscant, but it needs a passkey. And when she says that there's no cameras in here and loses hope, Kanan suggests that maybe there is a camera. And under the synth skin and the back of Vidian's head, he finds a data port. As Luna plugs him in and finds that they can find recordings for the last day, she deletes their encounter from his memory. Seeing that the report is already sent, they get the original out to revise it, only to find out that it didn't need revising. The scientists reported that the test failed, but the Thorolite would disintegrate within a year of a blast. Vidian had falsified the results in the message he sent to the Empire. They then work out Vidian's plan, based on the communication he had with the droid Baron himself. Vidian says that the Gorse sector will be set up for years, and that within a year he'll give Danth control of the Thorolite. Vidian would be a hero the Empire needs, getting them resources. Meanwhile, when Danth takes control, it would fail, tanking his credibility, while Vidian goes on for greater things.
This man is playing chess, everyone else is playing checkers.
They've also found out about Lemuel Farsa. That Lemuel Farsa is Vidian. It's his old identity from back when he was a mining consultant, that he's kept around to get things approved under the radar. The med center that he was sick in was the one he destroyed on Gorse, and the company that he fell sick while inspecting was the one which would become Moonglow.
Ooh. I love this for him.
Still planning to send the Empire the correct report to look for a passkey, but can't find it in the last day's memories. In the hangar, Sloane is still struggling to organise miners when Vidian calls from his room. As she enters, she gets hit from behind and knocked to her knees, and locked in a stasis field.
Uh-oh.
"Thank you for coming, Sloane." She looks up and realises that the voice isn't coming from Vidian, instead someone else has his vocal necklace. "It's a good little thing, isn't it?" Kanan steps out of the shadows, and of course he starts flirting with Sloane, who recognises him again as Mouthy Pilot. Kanan
Of course
something.
he does.
Kanan says, "Look, I know you're confused, but I'm an agent of the Emperor. I'm here checking in on Vidian, as he's plotting against our Lord and Master."
Oh.
The team head back to their ship and start flying towards Gorse. Luna saying that she can get a warning out to all the residents about Vidian if a plan they've done with Sloane doesn't pull through. As we ride back, Hera questions why Kanan is still with them. He seems so eager to leave Gorse before. She reasons his motivations aren't political, to which he tells her that they happen to be heading in the same direction. Just after they hit hyperspace, Sloane is released from the stasis field, and instantly runs over to wake Vidian up. She tells him about the intruders, that they told her about a conspiracy, that they were spies for the Emperor. Vidian has heard about the Emperor doing things like this before, but doesn't think that he's done anything to get himself on the radar, so assumes that they're from one of his competitors instead, as they seem too skilled to just be local insurgents. For her loyalty, Vidian says, "I'll give Leo Carston an irresistible offer to join the private sector, ensuring Ultimatum will stay yours. In fact, maybe I'll keep you on as my personal captain. How would you like to make April before too long?"
Oh yeah.
When Expedia drops out of hyperspace, they are shocked to see that Ultimatum beat them back, as it has a faster hyperdrive. The moon is already covered in injection sites that are going to be used to fill it with explosives. Kanan tells everyone to relax. Says, Forger isn't here yet. That means that Sloane listened. Sloane comes over via mining frequency, explaining that Cinder has a pressure building up, and if they don't let off some controlled explosions to relieve the stress, it will destroy itself within a short time.
How short?
Short.
Oh no!
At that time, Forger arrives, and Sloane welcomes the Count and tells him the explosives are primed, and in an hour he'll be able to detonate. Vidian is excited by the prospect of destroying a moon for the Empire, and is happy to throw his old persona and an ambitious captain under a bus to meet his quota, and Damp's downfall will be the icing on the cake. At that moment, over the comms comes Kanan's voice. He warns all the ships around him that he's been made crazy by the toxic fumes of his load, and threatens he will shoot down everyone around him. He then tells Hera to fly, and I quote, like a drunken Wookiee.
Fair enough.
And starts shooting into the convoy, making sure that he only hits the TIE fighters, causing a panic and making the other miners, fly off course, hopefully slowing down the delivery of the bombs. As they head towards Cinder, Skelly directs them to the primary detonation towers, and they try to do damage to them to stop the explosives from being planted. However, after a few shots, Expedia's guns overheat. It wasn't made to be put into combat, it's been made to hold explosives. And Luna suggests a backup plan, pointing up at Forager and the comms array it has. If they hijack that comms array, they can warn all of Gorse of Cinder's destruction. Chased by a swarm of TIE fighters, Expedia gets into the back of Forager, crash landing. Watching the feed, Vidian warns his crew to prepare for boarders. Kanan looks at Hera and tells her that he'll permanently be moving to the passenger seat. Metaphorically, he'll always be by her side. For them move out into Forager. However, Skelly is too beat up and has to stay behind.
Skelly's not long for this world, I think.
On Ultimatum, Sloane hears about the attack on Forager and sees Kanan on the security feed, but she trusts Vidian's troops to handle it. She then gets a priority message from the Emperor himself and goes to take it in her private chambers. Chimas lets Vidian know that the explosives are locked and loaded. Within 10 minutes, they'll be live. When he asks where Sloane is, Chimas tells him that she's indisposed, and Vidian's just upset that she'll miss the fireworks. After the attack up the ship, Luna and Kanan have got separated, but managed to make it outside Vidian's communications room. Kanan props the door open while covering from the outside, as Luna goes in and tries to sneak across the floor, when Vidian grabs her and throws her across the room. Kanan comes in after her, getting Vidian's attention and rushing to fight him. Meanwhile, sneaking around, Hera finds a storage area loaded with vehicles. She finds a forklift, but she thinks she could ride through the hallways, and it will offer her some cover. Luna pulls herself off the floor, as Kanan's keeping Vidian busy. Luna grabs her gun and tries to help, but Vidian is too fast, grabbing a barrel, before Luna pulls the trigger, causing the explosion to blast back on herself. Suddenly, a forklift smashes into the room, and as Kanan protects Luna, Vidian gets pushed into a wall. Vidian tells Hera that she should have crushed him, and Hera threatens to shoot open the windows, venting him all into space. Come now. I'm mostly electronics by now. You guys will suffocate. I'll just get picked up. This is an awful plan, you dumb Twi'lek.
It's a terrible plan. Yeah, he's fucking right. It's an awful plan.
You have no weapons that can hurt me, and you know it. You may as well surrender now. Kanan starts reaching behind his back to something he hasn't used in a while. But he hesitates, feeling it's not the right time. At that moment, Forager gets a call from Sloane Ultimatum. She takes control of the explosives away from Vidian and orders all stormtroopers to arrest him.
Not Vidian.
Sloane had a feeling something was off for a while, and her meeting with Kanan just confirmed it. While she didn't believe much of what he said, Vidian's reaction to it seemed to confirm some of it, and his offer of an admiralship was an insult to her intelligence.
Oh, no.
She consulted Damph to try and alert the Empire of everything, from Lemuel Farsa to the faked results of the test explosion.
She's fucked him over.
And it turned out even the Emperor didn't know Vidian's double identity, a man who prides himself on knowing everything happening in the galaxy.
Oh, he's pissed. I bet he's pissed.
Sloane and Damph didn't like being used as patsies, and even more damaging was the uncovery of a report from Lemuel back in his first trip to Gorse. For the bright side of the planet, had more fluoride to offer than Cinder. Because it's too hard for people to work, only droids could mine it, and Vidian, of course, didn't want the leader of the droid dynasty to know about it and get a leg up.
Yikes.
On Forager, Kanan is reminded of another event as he sees the white troopers turn on their master. But Vidian won't give up without a fight, telling Sloane that, of course, his company planted the explosives and his tech can take them back. As he takes out all the stormtroopers, Sloane orders the ultimatum to start shooting at Forager. Kanan, Hera, and Luna rush to escape the transmission bridge, but while Kanan rushes ahead, Luna and Hera are a bit slower. A beam starts falling towards him, but Kanan, reaching out, using a power he avoided for years, manages to catch it just before it hits them. Hera gives him a knowing glance before getting up and running with her team to an escape pod, launching it with the hope Sloane will pick them up. Vidian, still alive, doesn't want to risk the escape pods, but knows the Expedia is at the back of a ship. If he can get there,
Go on, Vidian.
he can fly it to Cinder and blow it up manually. He'll die,
Go on, Vidian.
but at least his mission will be complete. He'll meet with Quota that kills him. As he boards Expedia, suddenly he stops moving and he looks down to see Skelly grabbing his legs.
Oh, fuck off.
Please let me go so I can destroy the moon, you innocent little idiot. And Skelly just like, I don't think I will, and detonates his bag of bombs, blowing Forager out the sky.
God damn it, Skelly, you stupid incel.
Through the Force, Kanan can tell Skelly is done.
Skelly's done.
When his comrade, Luna, now blind from the blaster blowback, asks how he can be sure, Hera replies that he just does, which takes us into the final phase, damage assessment.
The Emperor's robotic mining plan for Dayside brings a new era to Gorse. Baron Danth has been granted oversight of the industrial region. Meanwhile, Vidian's HoloNet site has gone dark as disease relapse, quote-unquote, claims him. This sucks.
Sloane, now a full-time captain of Ultimatum, drinks at the ceremony opening of the biggest fluoride mine in the galaxy. With the Dayside now being mined by droids, the refineries on the night side will get more business than ever, while Cinder, in its beauty, will become a tourism spot once again. The best part is her and Damph are getting all the credit. Sloane found out that Chamas was working for Damph the whole time, explaining why he was so ready to oppose Vidian. She also finds out that the quote-unquote Emperor's agent, Kanan, wasn't actually the Emperor's agent at all, but he feels there's something bigger behind him pulling the strings. On an unknown planet, after being transported and set up with a new life by Hera, Luna reminisces of her adventure. Last changes to Moonglow will become refinery standard. There'll be more work than ever, so perhaps Vidian's trip did work. While there are no signs that they suspected her of the conspiracy, Luna still knew she couldn't return to her old life without her sight. But she had seen so much that it was nice to not need the noise. Kanan, who made his own way to the planet by commercial means, comes to see her and talks about Skelly. Luna says that his ashes are probably still falling on Cinder and that he'd like that. Luna is sad she couldn't save Heto. Hera and Kanan then walk back to her ship to go off on more adventures. Hera could feel that Kanan was getting attached to her, but hoped he'd understand that the mission will always come first. She doesn't know if Kanan was Jedi, and doubts he even has a lightsaber, but knows that she could use his skills. She opens the hangar to reveal the gem-shaped ship that Kanan saw at the start of all this mess, called the Ghost. He turns to Hera and says, "Let's go somewhere," and that's the end of A New Dawn.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Why do I always end these stories rooting for the villain?
Which other villains have you rooted for?
I liked, Paul McCartney. I can't remember his name. The corpo guy.
That was like a very grey area.
It was. He did. To be fair, I rooted. He was in the villainous role, and also I rooted him because he had it. They had a truce, right? And they went back on it, and that's not fair. On this one, I'm like, Count Vidian had a generally sympathetic backstory, and also the mental image of a man playing the stock market whilst he's lying in a hospital bed is really fucking funny to me, and I love that.
So, what were your favourite moments? What were the highlights? What were the low points?
Highlights. Count Vidian's entire thing is so fucking funny. He's so comically over-exaggeratedly evil that he kind of slayed. Not gonna lie, he kind of slayed.
Yep.
I loved him. I liked how everyone was really fucking horny in this book for no reason. Well, not everyone, but more just basically Kanan. He's
As
just
I said
very,
in my
very
review,
horny.
This book feels possibly the most MCU of a book I've read, in that every single character is constantly quipping / a lot of horn but no action. And when I first wrote my notes after this, they were so long because I was trying to get every single dialogue, because the dialogue in this is so good.
It really is. That's definitely one of the high points, and for all we can describe it as like it's like an MCU book or whatever. I liked it.
Obadiah was an icon taken too fast.
He was an icon, truly. It wasn't like it didn't feel like they fly now sort of dialogue. It felt like more
they
fun.
Fly now.
They fly now. Nobody repeated 3 things for emphasis, so that's good. I very much enjoyed that. I like that the characters were really great. For all of the shit that I gave Kanan about just being a guy, he's just some dude. He is just some guy, but he's got something to him.
Mm-hmm.
I quite liked him as a main character, and Hera's cool as well.
Do you recognise the names Hera and Kanan?
I do recognise the names Hera and Kanan. I think that Kanan might be from the TV shows, like the animated TV shows.
Uh-huh.
And then I would assume that Hera probably is as well.
And I purposely haven't told you to look at this yet, you go into your pack. The first image should be the cover of this book.
Oh fuck! It's I've seen this guy before. I've seen him before, I swear.
So what did you think of these 2 characters?
I thought they were really good. I really liked them. Are they from oh god, are they from Rebels?
Yeah, they're 2 of the main characters from Rebels.
Yeah, that's the fucking guy with the gun. Does he have the gun? Is he the guy with the gun lightsaber, or is that a different guy?
No, that's a different guy.
That's a different guy. Is that Ezra?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. See, I found it. Yeah. Yeah, the guy with the gun lightsaber is the guy in the foreground of the Rebels poster that's in the pack. And then those 2 are there.
You're cutting ahead. Wow.
Sorry, you told me to look. You told me to look.
But yeah,
don't do this usually.
I feel like it's a shame how quickly in the book they tell you that Caleb and Kanan are the same person.
Yeah.
And the cover just has his lightsaber right there. I would have liked it if you go into this
a
bit
more vague.
Confused. And you're like,
yeah.
What do a prologue have to do with anything else? Huh?
Oh, what is this?
Also, on his cover, on every single cover of this book, he has his lightsaber lit. Meanwhile, in the book itself, no lightsabers are included.
Yeah, there's literally even a point where Hera's just like, I doubt he has a lightsaber. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know what that's about. Yeah,
But yeah, like most
not
people meet
left.
these characters through the animated series, through Rebels. So I thought it'd be
Yeah,
interesting for you to your first main exposure to them being this book.
yeah, yo, I quite liked it. I liked how unrepentantly horny this man is. And I hope that he doesn't get any less horny because it's funny. Um, and yeah, Hera's pretty cool. She's kind of a bit more understated in comparison to him,
hmm
I think, but
She
she's
has a
still
life
pretty
together
cool.
to an extent.
Yeah, she does. She's got her shit together, and she's very much. She's like we were talking about Resident Evil before this, and I'm gonna say she's Ada Wong to me. I feel like she's got serious Ada Wong vibes.
I've met Ada Wong, but I can't tell you anything about Ada Wong,
Oh
except she may
no.
have been on phones in 7,
Okay.
and she has the campaign I skipped in 6.
Oh, you
Oh,
skipped the Ada
and she's
campaign
in
in
2.
six.
She's in 2, isn't
She is
she?
in two. Yeah. Did you play Claire or Leon though?
Both.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, she's
So,
in Leon's one.
so Emily is a big Resident Evil fan. I play the
I love Resident
games,
Evil.
but I'm like casual enough that every single element of every single one confuses me immensely. I'm currently playing through 8.
He suffers so much. But yeah, if you do end up playing four, she shows up a bit more in four.
Ethan and Skelly would be friends.
Ethan and Skelly would be friends, and I think that maybe goes that goes some way to explain how I feel about Skelly.
hmm
Because Ethan is not my favorite Resident Evil character.
Yeah, I,
Oh,
I, I
damn it,
really didn't
Skelly.
like Scully in this book when I first read it. On
Yeah,
my second read, which this was, I liked him a bit more, but I found it interesting that you
that's
also
fair.
really didn't like him.
Maybe that's like a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe one also I'm now the world's number one Count Vidian stan. Um,
Now that
and
Scully's dead.
two, now that Skelly's dead, yeah, and two, I just think that maybe like how he comes off in the beginning is just a little bit like insipid. It didn't help that you
hmm
gave him the whiny voice.
That's how I read him the first time.
Yeah, it's accurate.
No, when I first read it, he definitely had like the the bug trainer, the bug Pokemon trainer type voice.
Fuck, bug catcher. He's bug catcher Skelly. He has a Metapod and two Weedles, and he is going to hurt you.
So before we finish, I want to do something a bit different.
Okay.
Since the comic episodes usually go on longer than the book episodes, I thought I'd start to sprinkle in, not like deep dives, but just a few little plot points from the TV episode, which I think will enhance your experience going forward to other things.
Okay, fun.
Like I said, this is the start of what I'm considering journey to Ahsoka, and
Mhm.
while Kanan won't be in Ahsoka, Hera will be, and so will other members of their Rebels crew. So I thought I'd quickly just go over the beat to beat of Rebels 2-part opener, Spark of Rebellion.
Okay. Oh wait, are they the spark that lights the fire, that fans the flames, that lights the other spark that ignites the rebellion?
They're one of the many sparks. So, Rebels takes place 6 years after this book, in 5 BBY. The episode opens with Vader tasking the Inquisition, who we met last episode,
Yep.
with tracking down the Children of the Force, the first generation of Force users to grow up without the Jedi, and to make sure they never turn to the light side. On the planet Lothal, the Empire has arrived, and Kanan, now joined by Lasat, Garazeb Zebarelius. So the Lasat are, do you remember Cow's master?
Yes, yeah,
That
I do.
species.
Same guy.
And Mandalorian artist Sabine Wren. They're stealing
Ah.
supplies when a local street rat, who we see stealing food very Aladdin style, gets involved and steals one of their bikes.
Uh-oh.
He quickly gets Kanan's attention, and the youth escapes, but there's TIE fighters in his tail. Luckily, Hera and her ship, the Ghost, manage to fly in and save him, and they offer him a lift to safety. Here we meet the
Okay.
last member of the Ghost crew, the Astromech Chopper. And if you look at the Rebels poster, you will see this team.
I will look at it again. Ah, the Dream Team.
So you have Kanan and Hera. Kanan, who hasn't changed his look in all this time.
No,
Hera, who
he's
has
still
slightly
the
changed her
same.
look. Zeb is the big purple one. Sabine has her
Yeah.
helmet off, but she's constantly dyeing her hair, and she's spray painted in Mandalorian armor.
Mm,
And then Chopper's Astromech.
nice.
And the last guy is the Street Rat, who introduces himself as Ezra Bridger.
He's the man. That's the guy.
They're chased by the Empire and have no choice but to take Ezra with them, and they jump to hyperspace. But then they jump straight back to Lothal because the Ghost is an amazing ship and can just scramble its transponder. They won't know it's the same one.
Oh,
They
damn.
land at a shanty town called Tarkin Town, which is home to every citizen that's displaced by the Empire.
It's called Tarkin Town?
It's of course named after the Grand Moff himself in a very Hooverville type way.
That's so great. I want to live in Tarkinville.
Ezra sees the joy the locals get when they receive the stolen food and weapons. He walks back to the Ghost and goes into Kanan's private quarters as something calls to him. In a drawer, he finds a holocron and a lightsaber. Kanan and Hera
Ooh.
catch him, and he says, "You won't believe me. It's like this thing called to me." To which Kanan replies, "You're right. I don't believe you." They end up dragging Ezra on a mission to free some Wookiee slaves in transit. When the plan goes badly, Ezra gets captured, and Zeb chooses to leave him behind.
Oof.
Going under the name Jabba the Hutt, Ezra gets interrogated by an Imperial Security Bureau agent called Kallus, who plans on using him as bait to catch the others, but Ezra's like, they won't come back to save me. And then when he's left alone, manages to pull the holocron out of his pocket, and he sits there and he thinks about it a lot, and it opens up revealing Obi-Wan's message, which must be one of the most distributed movies in the galaxy. Everyone seems to have a copy.
I mean, yeah, this is true.
It's the emoji movie of the Star Wars galaxy.
I was about to say, not everyone has a copy of the Emoji Movie. I do, and that's your fault.
Happy birthday. Ezra manages to escape by himself, and then he finds out that the Ghost crew actually did come back to save him. Shocked, as they run onto the ship, he jumps down behind them, managed to escape. Ezra decides to join the team on a mission to Kessel to actually free the Wookiees. However, when they land, they're faced against overwhelming odds, and Kanan walks out in front of all the imps and ignites his lightsaber. Kallus can't believe the order he has to give as he tells his troops to fire on the Jedi! The distraction works, and the Ghost crew manage to escape with the Wookiees. After dropping him off, they take Ezra back home. Kanan asks for holocron back, and Ezra gives it back, but sneaks Kanan's lightsaber in the process. Hera and Kanan, seeing the holocron have been opened, realise that Ezra has the Force, and Kanan follows him with a choice to either keep the lightsaber and stay on Lothal, or give it back and join the team. Meanwhile, Kallus calls up the Grand Inquisitor, telling him about the Jedi he met. That's very SparkNotes version of the first episode of Rebels.
The first episode. So how far in the future from the book is Rebels set?
So Rebels takes place over a span of 5 years, but this one is 5 years after the book.
Okay. Damn, my guy really didn't get a haircut or like a facial hair.
Sorry, 6 years after the book.
In 6 years.
Yep, 6 years.
He's really committed to that look. Even I've cut my hair since then, and I am not. I don't really do that a lot.
So, because
Damn.
I watched Rebels before I read this book, I went into Rebels a bit after it came out, I think, just for the second season. And I knew Ezra was a Jedi, and me being dumb, even though he went into Kanan's room and found a holocron and a lightsaber, I didn't trig that Kanan was also going to be a Jedi, because I was like, oh no, they just need this stuff. It's probably stuff they just have that, the Jedi Ezra is going to find. When Kanan ignites his lightsaber, I was actually, losing my mind.
You're like, whoa!
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Not one, but two Jedi alive this close to A New Hope? This is
Two Jedi.
this is insane. Imagine there being two other Jedi alive in this time frame.
Absolutely incredible. Unprecedented. Would never happen.
And now there's like 100 Jedi alive in this time frame.
Yes, there is.
But we can't hate it. There's good stories.
No, we can't. It's great.
Have you got anything else you want to say?
No, I think I've covered a lot of my thoughts about this book. It was a really, really good one. I know I kind of say that about like most of the things we do there. we do. I like Star Wars, so I'm not gonna say it's shit. But I thought that this one was really good. I really like. I think Lost Stars might still be my favorite, but this might be like second favorite, just for the pure entertainment factor of it.
Brilliant.
Count Villian.
I'm glad you respect me.
I do. I respect you a lot, Count Villian. My new second favorite Star Wars villain.
Who's your favorite? Oh.
You take a guess. 0 episodes. I'm not. Well, I haven't mentioned his name, so let's continue.
Yep. I wonder if Villian counts as a gulp shitto.
It's a gulp shitto. What? As in, like somebody who's so obscure that if you went on Pointless and they were like, "Can you name a Star Wars character?" you would get like no points.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Definitely, I think so. I mean, like, has Villian been in anything else?
He's in a short story.
He's definitely getting 0 points.
He's mentioned a few times.
Okay. But I think he qualifies as a gulp shitto.
Mm-hmm. He's no big string, but he's near.
Big string. Yeah, big string is going to be my new go-to answer for the most obscure Star Wars character.
As I hinted at the beginning, I will also say it would be a character from this book who is on a Pride cover is Captain Rae Sloane.
Hell yeah. We love that. I was really hoping you were going to say Vidian, but...
She's one of those characters where her sexuality is never brought up in the art itself. It's more just like, oh yeah, we'll say she's queer so we can put her on a cover.
I don't want to say it might be uncharitable to say that it's J.K. Rowling levels of it, because I don't think it is. But it's what's another character that's like slightly nicer but who is only gay in the extended stuff?
Most characters are only gay in extended stuff.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
Lando.
I can't think of an example. Lando. Yes, Lando. Yes, absolutely.
Lando also has a Pride cover, so.
Fuck yeah, I love that. Oh, Lando's great.
I would go through them all, but it will be a bunch of names you don't know yet. So I'll just like whenever a past character has a Pride cover, I will bring it up.
Just be like, this person, that's a gay right there. Star Wars truly says gay rights.
I can't wait till we get to the High Republic. There's so much reb. Before we leave, I have a question to ask Yao.
Excellent.
This week the question is, why did the clones turn on the Jedi?
Oh.
And it's not as simple as it may seem.
To get to the other side?
Be sure to check out our socials at Crashing the Starfighter on Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to upload to both of those twice a week. And if you want to email us with your thoughts on this book, with your answer to the question, with anything else, we are crashingthestarfighter@gmail.com. I've been Sam.
I've been Emily.
And thank you for listening. See you next time.
See you next time, everyone. Okudara is a real one. Because, like, he really kept that whole, like, yeah, this guy, you should definitely marry this guy. And he used his dying breath for it. Which is kind of, you know, find yourself somebody like that.
I'm going to have another piece of chocolate.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, it's going to stick in my mouth again.
Oh no.
No.
You didn't think it through. Sam, we're in a podcast.
I can edit it out, Emily. It's over a year-old sorted caramel dark chocolate and it's delicious, but also it's kind of out of date.
It's over a year old?
Yeah.
And it's dark chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not on board with this anymore. I can't. I
It's
can't
superior
support this.
chocolate, and
No.
it's over a year old because I get chocolate for Christmas and things. I'm like, I'll save it for a special occasion. And there's never a special occasion to eat chocolate, Emily. What am I going to do? Share it with people? No, thank you.
So
I'm going to leave it until it goes off.
The special
I'm going to leave it
occasion
until it
you've
goes
chosen.
off, but I'm going to eat it while recording a podcast.
Yeah, it's our
Giving
podcast
myself work,
recording.
I'm going to have to edit it out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to edit out all of like the mouth sounds for the sonorous experience.
Yum yum. You get them though. You get them as a treat.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept it. I just wish it was, I wish it was Count Fidian, but